Aya de shimama yakoya ya Bible so say ye di apomdi hu nkomo nansa na no ene eye Nathaniel Minta ye frewo eye Belebe wona ye personal assistant edema doctor ene Sofori Sapon ene eye wa wodenti Nathaniel happy birthday from Mouse and afi ya ye papa doctor ene Sofori Sapon ene adwumayefo ni nyina ye ma happy birthday and from myself to you Belebe and there wa wouldn't happy birthday. And the most subscribing control said, Odoba caught Yami B, no aqua show. Tin pa, mouse is some catchers or Odoba caught Yami B, no aqua show. Yami B Quana, the Diano, so a young quina, and so ye Diana Sentinel, which be about 30 kilometers away. Yami B wants some catcher of no, they conconte, as you say, time, and Tibele. And there wa happy birthday pa and na me de ma na no pe na ba ko so ha Jeffrey na yaw adai o si Just Wisdom International School basically and e wa woda e free ebusuafo ni nyina ho se omoma happy birthday and e be din komo e fa LGBTQ+ sa obrafi obrasei ene ahohwibra no nsusuanso betumi de aba ne se ye de wo ya betumi de woman yeye so bi de yawo no de osem ye ba yawo no sem ye bema nso no yo ba yawo no yo ba nso sem ye bema yawo no ye bema nso sem ye ba awo mu so etumi nya bibi se free mu ala bi di ho enkomo ntie na no pay Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur na me ni bi di nkomo afa ho na ansa na no Amy Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital and na afasa segment ho eka Amy wo kọ hopa na ho anto one na yare no no na de obekọ na o yare no ko be so obekọ oye den obekọ isan say enubrane habama ewo Amen ene abefo kwan a yaka ne mi ensade nyina bom e de sa yare no yare ne ye den obekọ enu nti tutumreka kọ ukoduru ho a ye be free screening e de amount na fi enu achi se lab test bi na be ya wo mu fidie do ho na ye ni nyina de ama enti no wo mu behu bebia yare no wo e bra hye ase empempensu aduru no wo hu bebi so ehye enti so mo ma waduru a wo no se ye target ha se ne ye no enti okwa bia so yare no ebekọ Amy Scientific nko na wo kwa wo do yare no kuduru ho a wo nsan fa nko fie bio enti misrewo twiro mo number ifato wo na se bia ahododo wo se da chibi na ho bedodo wo se onu bia na hododo no so a mo frɛ na bebia mo nkorabata ne ben wo no wo be kyerɛ mo ho na makɔ akɔkɔhwɛ mo yare number ni nie ɛyɛ 020 722 9505 020 722 9505 and afi 0244 227 192 0244 227 192 and after 0245 275 254 0245 275 254 Amy na now say allow Shafi Nyankopon ene yaresafo dog akwaba bibia bokode ye de radias my mister say LGBTQ say bi onipa ne gay na lesbian ye de wo
I think some question way over the years, and because of that, a lot of research, scientific, research near there, interviewed, like a lot of things have been done over the years. It's been there for a long time. But the conclusion, and they said two things. One, there are some people who, for some reason, have been born with let's say hormones and chemicals be on body more. For example, we are bema, who chemicals be and hormones be on body more. Emma would develop say bema into the way I will look, the way I will kasa, your male, characteristics is determined by certain hormones. In the same way, in Baso, they are different. But there are some people who are in bar, but omuo in bema hormones kakra edo so normal. So they may have developed some kind of, masculine features. Then also there are people who have males, but they also have some higher female hormones, and so they develop like, you know, to have some masculine features. But those situations does not determine a person's sexuality. Until even in Ghana, no, ebi mu was some or a bear manners or bar features kakra, your friend kojo besia. Na sa features no, ye kojo besia omonye gay, and understand. So research has shown say those kind of features no, it does not automatically determines a person's sexuality. And yeah, no, and able to be a yes. And secondly, you know, science too has shown say up till now, the who gene bia say we no obi ye de wono say we they are wanna say or ye gay. And also research has also shown say more than 93 point something percent of the time, you know, they develop those behaviors along the line. Into ABI ya wono, bibia ye fine say ABI obeko in terms of obe heterosexual, but along the line, no, enyoma bi sisi ewo nipa kro na abrabo ma na akwemu a ema nipa kro no e develop that kind of behavior or that kind of lifestyle. Inti we don't have any genetic linkage biya say we there no. See, it's not there.
Yare.
Inti, you know, say okay say bibi yare, especially look at mental, you know, illnesses. Idea yet to be determined say we were agreemu yare or not, no, has to do with the fact that, you know, nimpakro send your Jennifer, send your atinko onya and asubane odende dieno. Is it actually affecting the person and the people around them?
Okay.
Inti, before 1973, no, now it was part of mental disorders.
Okay.
It was part. But in the US, you know, protesting, advocacy, all the politics around Inti, Emasuma, some group of scientists, no, removed it from being mental illnesses. Not because there was any scientific proof, but because of all the pressures and stuff like that, you know, until they actually took it out. And around the 1990s, you know, so WHO also took it out of the group of disorders. But the mental health implications, any in your no, endorse one kasa. And I'm sure along the line we are going to talk about it. Inti ushe countries near Diana. Ube will say their attitude and approach to actually determining whether it's a mental disorder or not, you know, are different because of whatever happened. Because usually it's changes to illnesses now Diana. For example, obi wa yarebiness here, you say, oh, we actually use certain scientific processes and procedures to actually study idea kosono to say we yare or not, but we didn't actually follow that kind of way to take it out, you know. So if you look at the contentions all over the world, you can interview a lot of mental health professionals or other health professionals, no, there is no kind of agreement on all levels that this is a mental disorder or not, because of all the issues around talking about things like that. But as for the science around it, it's very clear. Okay. We all know that it's not genetically determined, and majority of them actually learn those behaviors, and based on certain kind of situations, you know, they actually assume
it says then they bet you mama yet true be the neurasa if
there are various levels. Research has shown say akolani nino adreno ensu eni. And any no, and you may be our environment can actually determine how nipakrono na brabo sifa. The difference between you and me is because of where we grew up and the experiences our psychological nature. You know, say you know, physically, you know, we can see it. But mentally, you know, people grow, including their sexuality. Into between before age 4, no, between age 4 and 6, no, won't say they kind of trying to understand things. We won't say obane sebio ne bana. They may even give names. On Omangasa, Minmobi or no say we machine. You know, so they give all kinds of names without understanding. But the moment the school going age between 7 and 12, no, omo agimi BA. They are now beginning to understand things. Around that time, you know, everything around sex becomes important. Inti ni ohwe wo TV so nia ni school students na ade no oko school na omo kire no na ade ho na ma mini papa ni ade no so begin including their sexual orientation and stuff. Inti if nimpakro no around that time no exposure ni ade no ofemu around that time ni anye year they actually pass a certain direction it may not be socially acceptable. That is the first thing. The second thing then is say a lot of the times most of the people personally have gotten in touch with and all kinds of studies here and there will show that omo go through any traumatic childhood event say at a tiny or how and colafemu during childhood it can be a reason why they assume certain behaviors. So for example oba ye raping may develop some kind of fear for men or certain negative perceptions about men. And I say it's been abused. In Tiabanisana, the person has a certain mindset, a dreamy about opposite sex. So they may tend to draw towards the same sex than the opposite sex. There are some people. I think there are all kinds of, if you Google, you see all kinds of stories about people. Abia, he's had a lot of disappointments for men, and you see, they all need any assembly into the person would actually assume some lesbian behaviors, and they're also there. So traumatic childhood experiences, whether it's abuse, physical, sexual abuse, neglect, whatever it is, can actually affect people's sexual orientation and behaviors. Then also societal culture. Into say bia environment bimu na say that lifestyle is promoted, the likelihood that you explore to also assume that kind of lifestyle is very high. And now if you go to some of the nation countries, Finland and all those places, they have even come to the realization that the social influence is so much. In this obi or yoba or bema, and they even go through those surgical and hormonal treatment to become what they were not born with now. What happens is that later on, Abraham agriabo so na person change back na because when necessary, and it becomes difficult. And a lot of them actually regret that kind of change. Then also a lot of people too are influenced or introduced into that kind of practices. In Tebioko school, or maybe they will introduce them. Or go school or baby or Adam will introduce them. Even in Ghana, it is even known say some people are influenced by money. In the ABA, a comedy no onisika obiaba or say benonko or a gay and a lesbian, mimosika yanyewe. Then those kind of lifestyle continue, male prostitution and all those things. It's also a risk, especially in this environment for such behaviors.
Obi osati bi anumua medical conditions. Yarwa hodo ben and obetumi enya. Yeah. The reason why I make is because of the vulnerable. Sometimes I say a lot of them are victims. And usually the victims are the ones who suffer most. Into the medical condition is dependent on nimpakrono state home answer or cause lifestyle. In Tibia, if the person has been raped or abused or stuff like that, that's so he assumes that kind of lifestyle. That lifestyle does not solve the rape problem. It actually compounds the problem. Then the second consideration is that the gay lifestyle itself, or LGBT whatever lifestyle itself, predisposes people to a lot of medical conditions. One, if sexual transmitted infections is higher among the population. Too much. Sexually transmitted infections say grow and those more. For example, HIV new cases say this year you about 50,000 HIV cases, up to about 80%. If you look at various studies all over the world, so up to, it can even get to up to about 80% of all new HIV cases, which is among the gay lifestyle. And the reason is that one, the anal area, baby asebio ejanai fano, it's not an entry place. And it's a efa. Inti ebanisana the friction and the trauma there, damage increases the risk of HIV transmission. Inti say obane anemu hono, how do we even say it? The vagina of the woman, transmission of HIV then is even lower than in the anal area because of that.
The second thing is so all sexually transmitted infections is higher. Was through a chain than normal population. Then also cancers. A lot of cancers is higher amongst HIV, friend there, LGBT population because of the lifestyle itself, access to healthcare near then plus HIV-related problems. And if you look at cancers of the anal area, if you look at anal cancers, it's kind of a little rare among the normal population, about 2 out of 100,000. But in the LGBT population, I don't know, times 20, times 40. You know, so anal cancers and some other cancers are even higher amongst that population. Then obesity and all that is also very, very high amongst them. Then also fecal incontinence. Say, ebia, nipakrono, ufanechi debia, ufanechi debia no. Ohono, as a ring bi owa tighten hona, ebia say, upese udidia toilet no, gada ho until say beye bebre. Eye bebre na ufili say ese uko janai. Na ohone bie so that you can go to toilet. But ohono because of entry no titi ho say ho bebia nti ubon say hono ubon say so ana say u bleed fa ho ana say janan kra no
e ba want to be in control.
You know, and there are a lot of men who have that problems.
I will share so born in the doors pa.
Oh, and also medical issues in the doors. Inti say we be makra na wo yire na wo fa wo yire nekia. They also develop the same problems. You find a lot of men. I attend to a lot of these things, you know, in the hospital, where people come and they have problems there. You know, there was a 9-year-old who was introduced at age 9. Parents didn't know. And along the line has some sexual relationship with adults. And the person has HIV and anal problems. And the problems with the young people, no. You know, sometimes when people say it's, your friend is saying, no, it's if two consenting adults are doing something, what is our business? Usually, it's not even between two consenting adults. And you'll be all bre and you'll be all tideo. Usually, that is what it is. Because, for example, be a 9 years introduced to it along the line, has had sexual and now is a gay. And now, for example, the two assay, the way I say, it's not between two consenting adults. Because the issues around it, you know, some people actually, and usually, are in it because of edeno. They are not the bottoms, usually, you know. Bottoms, then they say, Obia, Ofa Netuno, on the bottom. Now, Obia, on why yeno, or yeno, on the top. And both of them, no, they call it verse or something. Inti, Obia all penetrating, on tip bread, say, Obia yefano. And Omwa ye for mono, they really go through more problems than Omwa. Yeah,
that's a woman you so Omo Yentino. I didn't yet to be mammoth to me a jai sa.
I will say I have realized that if you are able to stop them at the beginning, say for example, we are raping. A girl was raped at age 8, developed fear, no so became a lesbian. That is an experience yeah. And what thing say inka ye raping no na say offer sat bie no inka if we had sought help for her say inka ye pemboa bi mana inka we do ho. And there are people who, for example, are LGBT and they are going through a lot of problems where if they themselves say that nya mi femo no me bre ubetumi aboa me, you can help them. But obia ono no person ye boa no ano nya obe ye bia no you can force the horse to the riverside. You can force it to drink. Yes, to me force obia say nimpakro no on go through treatment. But if the person realizes say nya mi femo no minim say me bre me the person should be given the chance for help. But the problem now is that outside the country, you know, now they are even stopping people from seeking help because they said it is normal, leave them alone. And that is the problem. In this obi bre, nase opese onyam buakrana. Now no, they are even stopping some of them from actually. Yes.
And you share situation is it no one more a yare, one more a yes and no, or more conditions at the sense. Titru one more pum de one semono, what share said the city or more hormona, one more bar. Idea how to so one normal so yeah. And I say, or something when you are no sign call, and I be sir.
Inti maka about medical and your man. mental health issues no so edoso. And in Crawford bar, you know, there are a lot of gays and I say LGBT people who sometimes are even surprised say we are defending it because they brain now they bre and omunim said they need help. But ebia obeka kokasa oye gay ni ade no it's like the stigma and we ni around the no ebia obe ferry crampos obeko akoka. But a lot of them are really suffering. Even mental health issues, no, depression is higher. Anxiety is low and your money is higher. Suicide is higher. Even self-injurious behavior. So people are cutting themselves because of emotional pain. Say your family the dimu. So sometimes in order pain no is comparable as an escape. Emotional pain there sometimes it's difficult to express it. But people cut themselves in it's higher. Even domestic violence. Say ABI you are in a gay relationship. You know violence no. Domestic violence is even higher, you know, in that group than the normal population. And I say, obi wo HIV, so obi kasi obi disclose it to the partner, same with HIV, you know, is lower among the gay population. And that is why even HIV spread, you know, is very high amongst them. And if you look at your friend is saying infidelity, say ABR, when you be a relationship or stay faithful, no, is lower among the gay population or the LGBT community than even the normal population. You know, so the issues, no, they actually a lot of them really need some form of help, and that is why I talk about this in the way I do, because say obi hiamwa. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I've been trained to heal people and not to deal with people. In Tiabanisana, if you're a health professional, your heart goes out to the people who are really struggling and they need help. Okay. And a lot of them actually need some form of help.
Okay. Our funny bush and funny Ghana for no. When I was share some crofoya or more yes, and my feet and tanya. Almost or more for the meaning say, I do know Mutrimuno, yet we can crego hunti, I am one kaised or more than a hard junior. A foot children at the Bama.
Oh, I think, say, the approach towards them no, is very important. The violence is not the way out, but we should actually provide help. And I say, ya bua or more because a lot of them need help. Now, even if you have certain laws now, Ghana laws no bill our parliament near there no, and your baby woman is very, very important to be able to stop some things. Another thing so I say we share some of the approach some of the countries are using now. Am I enfaho said to say is normal and to actually stop people. So over stopping Crawford said seeking help if they want to come out. That approach we should not even bring it here. And so the approach I use, you know, we need to be actually improve on help for them. And thankfully, you know, in the current bill, no, there is help. You know, the bill is not just jailing. You know, sometimes when people are talking about the bill, I'm focusing more on the fact that we be them and obey them. But actually, there are provisions in the bill to help. And even some of them are even for free. And even to actually abuse again is against the law. Some of the provisions in the bill. And I think that the approach to this, no, should focus more on helping people who need some kind of help. And if you're a family member, don't stop seeking help for that person. Enjoy say for that person. Because a lot of families, what they do is that to training. And when you do that, it becomes worse. But send your obi, for example, who feel say abnormal will fear now. Seek help for the person instead of so obeying at work training. And a lot of sexual behaviors, no, it's very difficult to deal with because people use sexual behaviors at this to actually cope with life situations. And it's if you are taking something away from someone who it's not just the behavior that you are taking away, but a nyoma is to buy an brain pakro. And if you are a family and you have someone inside who will be a situation, and you need to actually seek help for the person. But abuse has no place in helping people.
Dr. Isaac Numanatha, a medical officer, a clinical health psychologist, and then what they name Abeka Yahua, Yeti Comafasa, Susansoa, I was a LGBTQ plus in 7 You can't once a because of one day Ramon who say, wow, you know, Sabi, I agree how a Tibi a wild who come a Hawadini. Until come back to your senses. Bra, now maybe or wha, what you mean, one away free Sam Musurumu, no what you mean, I'm now watching back to me, I do as a way. As I say, yes, son, and Yakopon, a ball said, bra, never be. It's a bobo modern say, ye educating no, Namuso what you mention ye, so the kind of bill no, and yes, be a such an unqua, or my Fabi a chess, who hear moi, a say to me, wow, it is Shannon so pa, the teen ye pa, Sabi or to say ya, a wa and a bobo pampers, wa and a hawajin, Shannon so ye pa, Pumdeon Samuso, at the hawajin. See, better doctor see near the accidental summer, Amy Scientific Herbal and Alternative Hospital say, one more address cardiac says, I have a segment to know, they be from Monday to Friday. Young family, a chef funina. Until Dr. Sheikh Ami Bunsu, when we be a funina no. And the Muninasi, allow Shafi, Yakoponi, Yarsafo. And it is a way yare, what to do. Yare a crown crawl, a war when I had the amount stroke and actual war, while Posso Yawo Ya, Pepunu. Yare bia se de pedua ho bia no ne panipa no mu no wokọ emi scientific ya wo me fọ kwan bia so atumi asaw yare nti mesro so tutubrika kọ ma so ye ho ni manim ya no mo fa nubra ne haba ma yakopon akyira so ene abefo kwan de sa yare no mo fa ne mienu so anasa ne miensa no so na wo mo fa ensaw yare wo mo nkrobata no do so na mo no sense mi ne bebia wo nti no me de o mo namba na ma wa na wa frɛ se ahase na wo mo be kyerɛ branch ai ben wo na wakohwe wo yare number is 020 7229505 020-722-9505 and after 0244-227-192 0244-227-192 and after 0245-275-254 0245-275-254 yɛbɛdɔ ma se ne doctor nso ase sɛ wɔbaeɛ na ɔde adusuande kɛseesei abre ye nti enche ye besi adwane adwendwero man Ghana ho na happy birthday eko de ama Viviana Mwako Frimpong adora from Mama V wo brofu yedu efi chief ho wo Hello FM sanso na enne eye Anita Emisa DVL ko furudua ene eye wawoda nti happy birthday na fi ne kra eye kra no Jeffrey Nana Yaw Ade awo si Just Wisdom International School which is medical kind wa would happy birthday nti ye twa wona se yekoba sa towin semsemi a omo si ye nto madreti towin levy no wugiri se yeah anasa aban no enye sa adwuma no ense towin no se private person bi na baba ya percentage wise scarcity is on offer na scarcity is on man no any agencies ahodo a wono mo yes adwuma no ese kodi omho e bi di san komo no na fe ya hwe sa say hype say denyo shatane funny face nyama nyama because they na me person make come once since I see them as something ti ye be hwe ne de no kakran so wurawura mu e na fe accountant general say no Ghana card no salary who dare you o ka wi ono adem ka gidigidi say wa twa sign ye be di ho komo na ne pa say if we are penny na say the bibre bi show sa mutumi so no masigina bi akeke ye be ka wasem me e mabufu pa me tie na e mabufu pa isa sa so speak kura ne pa bibre na Ghana card no o ma ye wi ba ho santumi enkan nti ye be di sasem no ko ne kwaku bu ahen beba na ya agyanto beba na fe Dennis Miracle bu agye so beba na ye di san ko nti mu twɛn ye twɛn ho ba ye be to adwe ye ba